What's up, YouTube? It is Jeff Toffner here on the Glorious Podcast with my Week 4 Dolphins Saints London game review here, and I am fucking tired of this team, man. I can't take it anymore. I've been furious the last, 4 hours or whatever, ever since I've had to wake up to watch this piece of shit game. I woke up late, too. I usually sleep in on Sundays. I missed my alarm, so I woke up right when the second quarter was. I didn't catch any of the first quarter. I woke up, the game was tied at 0, right when the Saints missed that field goal, the first field goal they missed. So I was like, all right. So I could see the offense hasn't got anything going still, but the defense appeared to be decent at the time. And from there on out, the defense was good. The rest of that second quarter, the defense was good. The offense still did nothing in there. Jay Cutler is just an absolute, he's just trash. I hate to say it. I gave him a chance. I thought, maybe he could be good. But no, let's face it, Jay Cutler, he's awful. I mean, who the hell cares at the point? Let's just sign Colin Kaepernick or whatever. Do something, because I can't take this team anymore, because it's just ridiculous. We come off last season, we make the playoffs. You think we're going to do good this year, and then here we are again losing. We lose to the Jets. We score 6 points against the New York Jets, who are projected. Some people had the Jets going 0-16 this year. We can't even score, more than 6 points against them. And then we come out here 1 week later against the Saints, who weren't the best team. They're a decent team, definitely better than the Jets. But the Saints, and we can't even put up a damn point against the Saints. We get shut out. Against the Saints. We've scored 6 points in the last 2 weeks against the Saints and the Jets combined. Not the Patriots and the Falcons. The Saints and the Jets. Can you imagine? And this team's schedule is only going to get harder. I was drawing comparisons between this year and last year between the Dolphins, and it's very similar in a way because, if you think about it, the Dolphins won that one game early last year when they got off to a rough start against the Browns, where, you could say they got lucky. And, that kind of happened again this year, week 1, when they took on the Chargers. They kind of got lucky in that game. They really shouldn't have won that game, but due to, missed field goals by the Chargers, just like missed field goals by the Browns last year, the Dolphins ended up getting lucky and picking up the win. So that's why I was saying that there. Remember, the Dolphins started 1-4 last year, and then they went on that 6-0 run. But then again, here's why I don't see it happening again this year. The chances are not. It's just not going to happen again this year. Look at the Dolphins' schedule this year. The Dolphins aren't playing the Rams and the 49ers and, the Bills and Jets, all that, them teams. The Dolphins got to play the Titans next week. Then they got to play the Falcons on the road. Then they play the Jets. Yeah, that's easy. Then they got to play 3 straight primetime games. The Ravens, Raiders, and the Panthers. Their schedule is brutal. These were supposed to be the games that were, quote-unquote, easy for the Dolphins. These were, I thought the Dolphins might even go 3-0 to open up the season. Even with Jay Cutler, before the game against the Buccaneers got canceled. I thought the Dolphins could beat the Chargers, beat the Jets, and beat the Saints. I thought the toughest game would be maybe the Titans game next week. Here we are again, going in the Titans game 1-2, which isn't bad. There's still time to turn it around. There is still time to turn it around. It's only 1-2. You know what I mean? The Dolphins only played 3 games. They could win next week and they're right at 500 again. They are not out of this. They're still right there. The problem is the way they're playing. They are out of this. If you look at the way they're playing awful. Their offense is non-existent. They have nothing. Jay Cutler is just awful. 20 for 28, 164 yards with 1 interception. Now I won't put the blame on that interception on Jay Cutler. I did not catch that play live, but I caught the highlight of it. That one's on Julius Thomas. He made no effort whatsoever to even go up and get that ball. That was just a bad effort by him. Cutler did nothing wrong on that play. But it's not a matter of Cutler throwing interceptions or whatever. He has no touchdowns once again. The Dolphins' offense is just so dead right now. It's unbelievable. They have nothing. It's so sad. I've never wanted Ryan Tannehill back at quarterback right now more than ever. Because, I just keep thinking about last year and how fun last year was down the stretch. Even with Tannehill getting injured, it was a crazy sequence of events. Being a Dolphins fan for 7 years now, I haven't seen this team win much, but to see that last year was amazing, and I was just hoping for things to get better from there on out. But here we are again this year, and it's right back to what it's always been losing ways. It just sucks. Jay Ajayi, 12 rushes for 46 yards, nothing from him really again. It just doesn't make any sense. Passing, Devontae Parker, 6 receptions for 69. Jarvis Landry, 6 for 40. And then Julius Thomas had 2 for 29. That's really all. Kenny Stills, 3 for 13. The offense, there's nothing much to talk about at all on offense. They fumbled the ball twice. Jay Cutler took a fumble. And then Kenny Stills got fumbled too. I think they recovered both of them. But, I mean, I'll give props to the defense. I will give props to the defense. They really played good in this game. And I said to myself in the second quarter when I was watching, I'm like, you know what? If the Dolphins don't start doing anything on offense, right before the half I said this, if they don't start doing anything on offense, what's going to eventually happen is the defense is going to get tired out. They're going to be on the field they were on the field a lot in that first half, but they were playing good. But eventually what's going to happen, most likely it happens in the majority of the time when you see these situations, the defense will get tired out and they'll eventually start giving up points if the offense doesn't start, putting up points for them. And that was the case. So, I mean, the defense allowed 20 points it was. I'm not mad at that. They still played great in this game. It's because they were on the field at least 75% of the game. That's why they allowed 20 points. For as much as they were on the field, it's completely fine. Great effort by the defense. You know what I mean? I actually thought the defense was really good. Lawrence Timmons, he was back in there. He was pretty good in this game. We only had one sack there toward the end, Cameron Wake. But no interceptions. But overall, it was a solid game by the defense. The offense couldn't pick it up, if so ever, one bit. I mean, I don't know. I put up a poll on Twitter saying, who should the Dolphins start next week? Should they start Matt Moore? Yes or no, or, who cares at this point? I mean, a lot of people are actually picking who cares at this point, which I don't blame them one bit because I could really care less. I'm to the point where it's like, do I even watch next week? I think I'm going to watch next week, but if they take another L next week, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth watching that next week against the Falcons because they're really going to get destroyed if they don't win against the Titans next week. And what are the chances? I mean, we can't beat the Jets. We can't beat the Saints. What are the chances we're going to beat the Tennessee Titans? The Tennessee Titans are a good football team. Very good offense. Marcus Mariota, DeMarco Murray. They have a little wide receiver corps going now there, too. Their defense is pretty good, too. The Titans are legit. Some people have the Titans going deep into the playoffs this year if they could stay healthy. What are the chances that the Dolphins, the team that can't even – the team that scored 6 points in 2 weeks combined against the New York Jets and the New Orleans Saints, what are the chances we win that game? Yes, it's our home opener, too, next week, too, because, our home opener comes week 5 somehow. I love how that works. I mean, even though there was a lot of Dolphins fans in attendance in this London game, though, so I will say this was sort of a home game, but it doesn't even matter. Home game, road game at this point. I mean, I'm not even going to use excuses anymore. I was kind of, using excuses like, oh, we got to play 16 straight games. We only have 7, home games. You know what I mean? Everything. I was using excuses. Screw it. You can't use excuses at this point. This team just plain out sucks, all right? There's a lot of talent on this team. There is a lot of talent on this team. Jay Ajayi is one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, just go watch his highlights from last year. Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker have potential. Julius Thomas, we know what he can do when he was with Denver. Kenny Stills, he's talented. There's so much potential on this offense. Even the offensive line isn't that bad. Laramie Tunsil, he's pretty good. Mike Pouncey's good. Juwan James. You just look at it. I mean, is it Jay Cutler? Is that the simple reason? If Ryan Tannehill were in there, would this be a different story right now? I think it would be. I think it's Jay Cutler is the problem right now. I think they just cannot get anything going. I don't know what the problem is. I mean, they made it out to seem like it would be the easiest thing ever for him to come in here. He knew the whole system. He worked with Gase in Chicago. It would be fine. Well, clearly, they are not on the same page. They are not on the same page, if so ever at all, because it just hasn't worked out. Cutler has been just awful. Awful. I mean, it's the same Cutler from last year. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just came out and said he's retiring again at this point. I mean, I wouldn't blame him. Because I think we should start Matt Moore next week. I really do. And if not next week, if we lose next week and we start Cutler, then you got to start Matt Moore against the Falcons. There's no question about it. I mean, unless they're going to sign Kaepernick, which I think's a long shot at this point. But, I mean, who cares? At this point, sign Kaepernick. I don't care. I mean, just anything to make this team win. I just want to see this team win. I'm sick of this losing. I'm sick of it. I just cannot I cannot withstand to sit here another fucking year here watching the Dolphins just take, L after L. I mean, I remember a few years ago when Joe Philbin was the coach, and it was bad. It was bad that year. I remember we started off, I had high hopes going into that season, too. I was like, we might do good this season. But I would have high hopes every year. But that year was really bad. I forget what season exactly it was. We had a London game that year, too. I think it was against the Jets. It was just bad. We ended up, winning. We went at 8-8, too, I think. But it was just a really bad season. We started off really bad. And the Dolphins have a really, good history of starting off awful. I mean, you go back to last year. They turned it around last year, but I don't think it could happen this year. If they turn it around this year, then that would be amazing. But, I mean, you look at the schedule this year, it's the complete opposite of last year. We got the easy teams here in the beginning, the teams that we should be winning against, and then now we have the hard teams. We just dug ourselves into a hole, And, I mean, good luck getting out of it because it's going to be brutal for this team to turn things around here. But like I said, it's actually not that hard if you think about it because a win next week against Tennessee changes everything if they win next week. But that's really it. That's it. If they lose next week, I don't care at this point. They better win next week against the Titans. I mean, a win against a good team would just change everything for this team. It would give them confidence going into that game against the Falcons. I mean, they could win their next 2 games and be right over 500 again. Just look at it like that and be 2 good teams. So, I mean, we could be coming back here a week from now, completely different story. But based on what I've saw the first 3 games, I'm not liking it one bit. I'm not liking it at all. I don't like Jay Cutler right now. I don't know if I am. I don't know if he's going to turn it around. I don't think it's going to happen. I really think Matt Moore is the answer at this point. Just get Matt Moore in there. He worked out pretty good down the road last year for us. Remember, he wasn't the greatest, but he did do. He worked out. He got us wins. It felt like we were in the games last year, even though we lost some of those games with Matt Moore at the end of the road last year for the Dolphins. I mean, except for the Steelers game in the wild card. I mean, that was a different story. I mean, that was a game to forget there. But, I mean, that game against the Bills last year, week 16, I think it was, that was one of the greatest games I ever watched. Matt Moore, he was good in that game. The Bills and the Dolphins, that was one of my favorite NFL games of all time because it was just so crazy. The Dolphins were actually playing for something last year. Unlike right now, they're just, it's just the saddest thing I've ever seen. I mean, we talk about the Saints being, not the good team, the Jets being one of the worst teams in the league. Well, maybe the Dolphins are the worst team in the league. Maybe the Dolphins are that team. Maybe they are the worst team in the league right now. They might be. I can't wait to see what the power rankings are. I mean, the rankings came out last week. I was looking at them. The Dolphins were everybody had the Dolphins mid-20s. After this game here, not even putting up a point against the Saints, we might be ranked the worst team in the league. It might happen. It might just happen. We might see the Dolphins 32 out of 32. Even though they have that win. Say the Browns lose today, they go 0-4. I still think the Browns are a better football team than the Dolphins. Same with the Bengals. I don't think the Dolphins could put up a fight with either of those teams at this point. Because if they can't put up a fight with the Jets or the Saints, then they can't put up a fight with anybody. They're on another level bad right now. That's what it is. That's what it's come to at this point. They're on another level. There's bad teams, but Dolphins are they're worse than bad. They're awful. So much talent being wasted here once again. This is just so Dolphins of this for it to happen too. I mean, I feel like we've seen this 1,000 times before. It's just something. It's the same shit with the Dolphins all the time, and it never changes. It never changes. It's so unfortunate. I don't know. It's so unfortunate that Tannehill got hurt because I think if we had him in there, I think it would be a different story. Some people would, beg to disagree with me here on Tannehill, which it's understood. I mean, Tannehill hasn't been the most consistent quarterback over his career, but I mean, there's no question about it. He was really good for the Dolphins last year. He was one of the keys to why the Dolphins ended up making the playoffs last year. And I don't know. I didn't think I'd, be a big problem with Jay Cutler coming in and him getting hurt. At first I did, but then I was like, you know what? I think we'll be fine with Jay Cutler. Clearly, I'm rethinking that. I think we could have used something else because it's just Jay Cutler is not the answer. Let's face it. I mean, it's just not going to work. I don't think. I'm giving him one more week. I'm giving this entire team one more week against the Titans next week. And if they lose that game, then I'm done. I'm done. I don't know. I don't think there's any chance they turn it around from there on out. It will really be interesting to see if they make a decision on maybe Matt Moore possibly starting next week. I don't think they'll do it. I think they will start Jay Cutler once again next week, and I think that will be kind of like the final, the final game to really determine does he keep going with Jay. Does Adam Gase continue to go with Jay Cutler from here on out, or do we switch over to Matt Moore, or maybe even sign someone else? I don't think it. A lot of people are saying sign Kaepernick, which I think at this point I would have rather signed Kaepernick than Cutler, because just I don't know. I mean, but it would be if we signed Kaepernick, he'd have to get into a whole new system and everything, and it would take time. So I mean, by the time it would take him at least a few weeks to kind of learn the whole system before they could get him out there. I don't know. I really don't know what else to talk about. This is 2 weeks in a row now. I've had to come on here and just rant on this game. I can't. I remember week 1. I was loving it. I mean, it was a good review week 1 of the game. I enjoyed that review. I enjoyed talking about that game because that was a fun game to watch. Last week, this week, nope. I just don't even. I don't know what to say. Sunday's ruined. It's only 1:00 too because I had to get up early for this game. So I could, I could have slept in usually on like I do on Sundays, get a little extra sleep, but nope. Had to get up, watch the Dolphins get, destroyed by the New Orleans Saints for the second week in a row. I just don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say regarding the Dolphins. It's going to be another long week, I guess. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, it really took me a while to get over last week's loss. Usually everybody gets over the losses till right about Wednesday, you know what I mean? Wednesday, some people maybe earlier than that, Tuesday. But for me, I don't know. I felt like that loss was just in the back of my head all week. It's just so much, life's so much better when the Dolphins win. It really is. The entire complexion of the week just changes. It just puts you in a better mood. I'm in an awful mood. I got nothing else to. I don't even want to watch football at this point. I am just sick and tired of it. I don't even know. I say I'm not going to watch any more football today. I guarantee I'll probably watch about like 5 more games or something. But I don't know what else to say regarding the Dolphins. I really don't. I guess that's it for this review. I didn't even really talk about the game. This is the second week in a row. I haven't really even talked about the game because what is there to talk about in this game? The Dolphins played like ass. They made the Saints look like a really good team, just like it did against the Jets last week. And they lost. That's all I was talking. There was no offense in this game from the Dolphins whatsoever. The Saints, I mean, I don't really know what to do. They played decent. Drew Brees was good as usual. What's new there? Michael Thomas, he was good for the Saints. The Dolphins, I mean, he was really hard to stop. The Dolphins had a really hard time stopping him. He was kind of going up and grabbing everything. The Dolphins, they benched Byron Maxwell, I'm pretty sure, right? I don't see him here on the box score here. I don't see him at all. They benched him. They started Tankersley, the rookie from Clemson, the third-round pick. They started him. He was actually pretty decent. I'll give that to him. I think he might have a bright future. Hopefully. I don't know. Byron Maxwell's probably the most weirdest player in the league right now. You know what? He shows up sometimes, and then he doesn't show up. Maybe benching him will wake him up or something. If he even gets to start next week, we don't know yet. But I don't know. He's weird. One game he's amazing. The next game he plays like shit. That's how it works with Byron Maxwell. I don't know why. He just can't be consistent and just play good all the time. We'll see what happens with him, but I don't know. I thought Tankersley was pretty good from what I saw today, filling in for him. Like I said, I thought the defense was decent, even though they only had like 1 sack and no interceptions. I thought they played good overall. I mean, you can clearly show they only allowed, what was it, like 3 or... Did they even allow any points in the first half? I don't remember. But they just played good, the defense. I hope the defense continues to do what they do. Maybe get some interceptions, get some more sacks. And let's just keep our fingers crossed that offense turns it around. Because it's got to happen for them to win. They're not going to win on just playing like this every week. They're going to lose every game if you look at their schedule. I mean, some people are already saying Dolphins going 1-15. It's funny because it's the same shit. I'm just having flashbacks to last year, seeing that same stuff on Twitter and everything. You know what I mean? People pulling the schedules up after like week 5 or whatever it was. After we lost to we played the Titans last week 5 too. So it's same thing this year again. Week 5 at home again. We got destroyed by them last year. It was the game after the Titans. Week 6 last year against the Steelers when everything changed. Everything changed in that game. That was the turning point of our season last year. Hopefully next week is the turning point for this year. We can only hope. I don't know if I could stand to watch the Dolphins lose another game next week. It's going to be a tough one. The Titans are a good team. The Dolphins are a really bad team right now. But like I said, the Dolphins got to, hit that switch or whatever and turn things around because, you know what I mean? They shouldn't be playing like this. No one had the Dolphins playing this bad. That's the thing. No one had the Dolphins playing this bad. People had the Dolphins at least being an average team at worst. Some people had them being better than expected, maybe even making the playoffs, even with Jay Cutler as the quarterback. Well, I think a lot of people are rethinking that prediction there because after this week, it's really hard to have this team even making the playoffs. So if they do, that would be amazing for something like this to happen 2 years in a row, but it's really looking like a far-fetched prediction at this point because I don't know what else to say. But I think that's about it, guys. I'm not going to go on any longer here. Let me know what you thought of the game in the comments below. Let me know who you think the Dolphins should start next week. Do they start Jay Cutler? Do they start Matt Moore? Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. Go follow me all over social media. The links will be listed in the description as always. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you later this week right here with some more stuff on the Glorious Podcast.